Hello, hello, hello there, my Virgo collective sun, moon, rising. It's jumping already. Venus signs. Welcome to your soulmate read for December-ish 2019, though timeless. Whenever you watch it is when you watch it. Surfing the quantum threads, hundreds of thousands of stories. Take it when it comes, right? I am your reader, Mark Angelo, Lyons, Mal for short. How you doing? Professional witch, professional intuitive, and president of Drawing the Circle Productions, drawingthecircle.com, bringing people together with spirit. I haven't done that. I really should get some voiceover work. I was raised by a nursery school teacher. I've got 10,000 character voices just wired into my brain since birth. This is my pleasure to be working for you today, but let's get some things clear before we dive in. First of all, I am a Virgo sun, so I'm excited to see what's going on. I tried to stay out of it, tried to stay impersonal. It never works. I'm a Pisces moon, too damn intuitive, like I feel it, so there we go, right? So please keep in mind this is a general read. You will know if it is for you by what's happening in your body, particularly because you're an earth sign, right? That if I say something or a piece of energy comes through that jolts you, well then pay attention to that, whether it's a good jolt or a bad jolt. Good touch, bad touch, right? Just take note of it, right? Like, careful of conclusion jumping, because the mind then takes over. Just kind of breathe, remember to breathe, remember to breathe. And that's also why I always do sun, moon, rising at a foundation for a zodiacal read with Venus thrown in for fun for relationship reads. Cool, cool. So do check your other signs. Second of all, we are going to be doing divine masculine, divine feminine in this read to differentiate two different people in a contract. I could call it party A, party B. That's a little too impersonal, not to mention Cardi B, right, which you might want in. So keeping that in mind, we're not talking about bodily gender, we're not talking about X and Y chromosomes, we're talking about yin and yang on a divine level, right? We all have divine masculine, divine feminine energies, if you like goddess and god energy, mother, father, God, call it whatever you want, because we are the divine children and we inherit the divine DNA of our parentage. So we have both within us. But usually we identify with one side or the other. I definitely identify myself most of the time as more divine feminine. I'm gay. If you couldn't tell, you really need to check your pendulum, make sure that thing is wired right. But, you know, that doesn't mean in certain relationships, particularly with men, where I can be the divine masculine out of nowhere. It just happens, right? So you play it as it comes, breathe in the information as I go along, as we go along, and know that it's possible to resonate on both sides because we have both masculine and feminine. So as much as it can be about is supposed to be about a contract with two incarnate souls in a soul contract, soulmate contract, we'll talk about that next, you should be mirroring yourselves to a certain extent, right? Here we go. Soulmate. Reincarnational contract, the foundation of the soulmate is thus. You help each other heal, period. Anything on top of that is extra. So whether it is a familial relationship, parent-child, sibling, any of that, it can be in any form, but for these reads specifically, it is about the romantic, intimate, sexual contract, soulmate, right? That is the extra filling in the pie, if you will. It ain't just the crust, right? The crust is help each other heal. Anything else that gets filled in there, right? So we are looking for the happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, romantic, soulmate contract. What's going on in the different collective signs, whether or not people are together or not, we see, but we see a lot of us are wanting that, right? Because lifetime after lifetime. You know, romance isn't all that old on the human timeline, right? We had to go through a lot of survival stuff, right? A lot of first, second, third chakra before we got to the fourth. So, you know, it's been an incarnational thing to get the romantic, psychological part of it healed, because, you know, therapy didn't exist 10,000 years ago. The idea of codependent, right? Why? Please, with my grandparents, the idea of codependent. What the fuck are you talking about, right? So last thing, and then we'll get down to this, I promise. If anybody ever wants to put in a timestamp with my shit, it's like, here's where he stopped fucking preamble and did the reading. Remember to breathe. I swear to you, the more you focus on your breath, the more you stay in the present moment. The more you stay in the present moment, the more you can hear and feel your own guidance and grace while I'm doing this. And as you're doing that, you're actually tuning to the same pantheons of angels, gods, masters, the higher selves of all involved that I ask to do this through me, literally through me, not just for me, through me, right? So just remember to breathe. I'll remember to do it too. It slows me down and allows me to kind of do this in a more grounded way. Cool, cool. This energy gets high, and plus I'm a Virgo, so let's do this. Ready? Feet on the ground if you can. Just feel your feet on the ground, plug into Mama Earth, and here we go. Breathe. Ha, my collective pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters, and the higher selves of all involved, please, one card in clarity for the Divine Feminine in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, satisfying, soulmate, romantic, intimate, sexual contract, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise soulmate contract. One for the Divine Feminine, please, face down. Here's for the Divine Feminine while we're here. One for the Divine Masculine, face down. That's it for those. These are the Caroline Myss archetype cards. All the decks that I read are always at the very bottom of the description box. But while you're scrolling down, I marked down my book, Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, down to $14.95. Took $10 off it for the month of December. So go check it out. Go read the reviews on my website. It's great. It's a lot of cool stuff on there. Oh, and please like and subscribe. There's a vid down there clarifying junk tarot, which I will do once a month once I get super live chat at 1,000+ subscribers. Ready? Let's begin. Well, now that I see what they are, holy fuck balls. Okay, for the Divine Feminine, we've got the goddess archetype. Holy crap, holy. Like, think Marilyn Monroe, how they called her the goddess, right? She had the goddess archetype. She was a living embodiment, and what a tragic ending, right? And what do we have for the Divine Masculine? The orphan child. Oh, fuck. So yeah, the potential of a mother-child dynamic here, right? And if we're going to stick with the genders of Divine Feminine, Divine Masculine, mother-son dynamic here, but remember, this is an intimate, sexual, romantic contract, and everybody has the child archetype. Not everybody has the orphan aspect of the child archetype, but everyone's a child. And what, you think the child archetype doesn't play into our romantic relationships? Not to be fucking gross and creepy about it, but think about it. It's the innocence of the heart that has the trust to open, right? And be vulnerable and take the leap into love, right? It's like, if that child does not feel safe, forget it, right? It's going to be compromised with, you know, codependence, abuse, neglect, wounds of the past, replaying the past. You know what are our karmic relationships? And we go through hundreds of them throughout our lifetimes. Sometimes, yes, with the same souls over and over. It's true for some people. So this is like a really amazing setup because we're looking at a feminine family archetype, obviously the goddess, and a divine aspect, and a survival family archetype. I have to say something very Virgo about this. I'm excited. So I will read these individually, and then we're going to clarify with two different decks. So let's do the shadow and the light. All archetypes are neutral. We start with the shadow, the lead aspect, so that we kind of know what the Divine Feminine, at least in this case, is going to be healing, alchemizing, at least for this stage within herself or within the soulmate contract if they're already interacting, right? So let's do this. The shadow attribute. Breathe. I know, it's so exciting. Exploitation of the female nature and form. Now, when you do that to yourself, it's where you know you're letting yourself be exploited. You are agreeing to it. Like, certainly, oh my God, just in modeling alone, right? Well, you know, you need the job, you need the money, right? There's a little touch of the prostitute archetype in there too, but how much of exploitation of your own feminine energy, which I can say as a reader, I mean, sometimes I can push myself past, but that's a very, very different situation than what we're looking at right here. So really, to keep that in mind, exploitation of the female nature and form. Like, will we exploit the mother dynamic within the maiden mother crone of the goddess in order to manipulate and get what we want. An example, just saying, not saying it's you, not saying it's me, considering I'm a mother to cats and one past life son, at least that I'm aware of, right? I didn't have to put him through college. He's got a master's in chemistry. I'm so proud of him. Didn't pay a cent toward it, though, because I didn't actually give birth to him because I'm a god. The light attribute of the goddess, this is what we're shooting for. Now, again, I tend to identify more as the divine feminine. The light attribute, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. See, it's that thing, that sensuality. Sensuality isn't all about sexuality, totally different. Like, oh, I don't know, a velvet duvet on a cold winter day, on a Sunday, right? Nice big mug of coffee, kitty cats, right? Or your aminals, whatever that is around you. That is very divine feminine, but in that goddess aspect of it, that the feminine energy expressed through nature, through life force, through the divine heart, the love, the goddess. Now, if you identify with a particular goddess, keep her in mind here. Need not be only an earth goddess, though when I go earth goddess, it's usually Persephone and Demeter when I do. Feeling a little bit more Venus. Well, Aphrodite, sweet and flighty, runs around in a see-through nightie, but we'll see. Let's read for the divine orphan child, because you know what? We are all children of the gods. We just are. I mean, it's a great way to look at it, right? Regardless of what gods or goddesses or the one or source, whatever, we inherit the DNA of, we are extensions of, therefore is within us holographic reality. So it's okay to see yourself as the child, but the orphan child, which I have a nice touch of, you do not have to be literally orphaned to have the orphan child. Let me read you the attributes. The shadow, the lead. Feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation. There's a whole conversation there. Seeking inappropriate surrogate family. So just as an example, I am the only gay male in my generation, in my family, that we're aware of. I came out in the 80s. I came out, I think, 1984. Now I've got Eurythmics playing in my head, which is a really good thing. So, of course, even though I was not literally orphaned, I'm definitely redheaded stepchild, right? You know, definitely the one who sticks out like a sore thumb. Yeah, family portraits are really interesting with me growing up, being the only gay one for miles. Seeking inappropriate surrogate families. And did I ever, through theater, through, just all sorts of crazy spiritual new age 90 tinfoil hat woo woo land activity, as well as, you know, I can't say my coven because my coven was definitely an appropriate surrogate family, but we're estranged right now. Even our coven was called the Solitaries of the Silver Broom. I've always been a loner, right? I've always been a loner, the orphan archetype. So I think you'll like the light, because this is so fucking painful. The shadow, the light is so wonderful. Independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering the fear of surviving, which also means, because it's a survival archetype, you don't really need anybody's permission to do whatever the fuck you want. Be within the law, right? Align your conduct, what you say and what you do, what you choose and what you don't choose, what you will stand up for and what you won't stand for, according to your highest truth and virtue, and that is going to change as we mature and get older. So that thing about, you know, something being stifled in the maturation through abandonment and rejection, all of our heroes, all of our heroes, but the majority of our fictional heroes, orphans. Kal-El of Krypton, Bruce Wayne of Gotham, right? Dorothy Gale of Kansas, Harry Potter of, let's just say, England. I don't remember exactly where he's from off the top of my head. I'm doing a reading. But you get what I mean? So you put these two together, then the orphan child really doesn't need anybody's permission to take the journey, to jump off the cliff into love or not. And the goddess here has the ability to love so unconditionally, but that has to make sure she's not being deliberately exploiting herself or letting herself be exploited. Will you do my laundry? Will you do my laundry? Any guy who tries that shit, I'm like, the machine's over there. I bought the pods. Don't eat them, millennial. I'm not dating a millennial. I might. Who the fuck knows what the gods have in store for me. But this is okay. You go do that yourself. I'll help you fold later because, you know, Marie Kondo. I have Netflix, I know. Let's go deeper. We're going to clarify these two separate decks, both tarot. We're going to do Daughters of the Moon tarot. I'm having so much fun. It's not bad for a Monday. I have an appointment later in Riverhead. I have to go to Yogaholic. So it's going to be fun. It's like a good half-hour, 45-minute trip, I think. So we'll see. I have to learn the back roads. Virgo, we're very back roads. Let's find our own way. Breathe. Daughters of the Moon Tarot. The voices of my goddesses, please. 5 cards, element spread. For this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract, dealing with this divine feminine goddess energy, whether she is the Virgo or not. 5 cards, please, face down. Element spread. Here we go. Fire, what does she want? Earth, what does she have? The fuel of the fire. Air, what is she thinking? Water, what is she feeling? Spirit, what's the voice of the soul? It's a nice way of saying it. They've been changing the meanings of that last card from reading to reading. Shall we? Fire, what do we want? What do we desire? I'm feeling this one. Fuck the witch. Yeah, I'd say this is me. If I'm going to project, if I'm going to see myself, I'm going to see myself in this being that I'm a fucking witch. Witch that fucks. Absolutely, what we want is to channel the divine, right? To be the vessel, the vehicle through which manifestation happens. Anchoring heaven into earth. Embodying the divine plan, enacting and what's the word? Enacting as and infecting the quantum field, right? Being the quantum field and shifting, allowing the divine work through us to put our will, our choices, our decisions out there, not really knowing what the fuck is going to happen. Because let's be clear, my spells always work. They just don't always work the way I expect them to. So I have surrendered to that, which I think makes me a better channel of this shit. Okay, right? The goddess energy, it is more yin anyway. It is more receptive. It's like, okay, you just ground it through me, ground it into the earth, right? Let's be a blessing upon this earth and have a lot of fucking fun in the meantime, if you ask me. What do we got? What's the earth? The fuel. It's the guy. It's the Emperor. So we've got 2 major arcana cards down. Out of 5. We've got the Witch and the Emperor. So considering the Witch wants to channel, so then what she's got is then either her own masculine energy, which I think is kind of right on, unless the divine masculine's already in their life. But with orphan archetype, we don't know that yet. Her own systems, her own protocols, her own practice. Like, what makes an emperor? They set the structure, right? There's nobody above them except the gods to dictate, horrible word for it, but you know, you think about dictation. I'm going to dictate a letter, right? So someone talks to the other person, writes it down. So to actually put into this is the way things are going to go, different than a king, right? The culmination of all the kings in there. So there's a certain level, I'm getting even the words of mastery here, that the experience that's already been garnered walking the path. With that goddess energy, it would make sense too that there would have to be a strong masculine energy foundation within the divine feminine, otherwise it's out of balance, right? And really, in order to channel it down, you do need both. The magician in particular is a balance of as above, so below, masculine, feminine. So what's she thinking about that? A third major arcana card, the Hermit, all right? She who rides alone, the crone, the wise one, the Kaliach on her pale horse, gray horse, you know, taking a little looksy-dooksy over Stonehenge, right? She's in the air on the back of a horse. So really taking that time, like, so very well being, I can relate to this. I mean, Virgo, it's our card, the Hermit card. If you are, like I said, you might be the divine masculine. Thus, we are looking at the divine feminine, can be either or as I said, both. To get that altitude by pulling back, right? To not just self-awareness, self-care. connecting with the divine within, which is really hard to do surrounded by people a lot of the time. In chaos, and what appears to be chaos in the outside world, particularly if you're empathic in any way, shape, or form. I am a divine feminine first waver. Fuck. Right? I feel everybody's everything. Not all the time, thank God, that's why I wear all the jewelry. Like wards, just to kind of get through the day. But there's stuff that can override that. What do I need? I need time to myself. I need time to process. But that can feel like exile. The hermit is not in exile. They go willingly. Keep that in mind. What's she feeling? Okay, good. What she's feeling, 3 of Pentacles. Finally, a minor arcana card, right? I love this card. It's very Virgo. It's the clay woman. She takes the dirt beneath her feet, the clay beneath her feet, the earth itself, and starts molding it, right? It's a 3. It's an initial completion. She's making something beautiful, something practical that can hold water, that can hold food, that a container of some kind for the new manifestations. The manifestation is already in play. I've said, you know, because I cook. I love to cook. So, like, when I make soup, it's like, okay, I've got the veggies, I've got the protein, I've got the pot, I've got the, you know, the pot I cook it in, the Dutch oven, whatever I'm going to do it in. I have all my ingredients. Now let's make it, right? So this is the combining of it, but it's still got to, you know, bring to a rapid boil, then simmer for 1 hour, right? You know, it still has to go through that process. So she's feeling very much in process, this goddess archetype. Now, keeping in mind that the goddess is heavy with child right now, right before Yule, maybe keep that in mind. And with this child archetype, there might be something a bit more wheel of the year going on here. It's the month of December. Yule is a couple of days from now. The beginning, the birth of the SUNSON. And what do we have as the soul's 2 of Cups, the whirlpool. Now it's just a 2, it's an attraction, but the soul's saying, get ready, bitch. Here we go. Get ready, witch. Get ready, witch. 2 of Cups. Attraction, whirlpool, being drawn to each other. This is that kind of reading. I mean, that's the intention of this reading. A happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. So the soul saying, get yourself ready, honey. Get that clay together for the kiln, because someone's coming, something's coming. So then this would make sense that this is her own masculine energy, that she's got that's the fuel to achieve the fire of the witch and the manifestation. She seems pretty cool. I hope that's me. Orphan archetype. As we said, we're dealing there with abandonment, right? Feelings of abandonment, neglect, that have stifled maturation, right? A bit of a loner, bad boys, right? Oh, don't we love... Somebody asked me once, what's your type? I said, neck tattoo, visible or invisible, bad credit, and got a substance abuse problem of some kind. I mean, that was a long time ago. The 90s and the oh-ohs, right? Now I just want either a superhero, a god, an angel, or an ascended master, and a physical body that I'm attracted to. That's not that much to ask, right? Such a Virgo. Let's ask the gods here about this divine child, divine orphan child archetype. Please breathe. Oh my gods. Oh, Dionysus, I feel you, please. 5 cards, element spread, fire, earth, air, water, spirit, for this divine masculine orphan archetype in this Virgo collective. Sun, moon, rising. Venus sign. Satisfying, sexual, sensual, romantic, intimate, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, soulmate contract for December-ish 2019, though timeless. Please. Fire, what does he want? Earth, what has he got? The fuel to feed the flame. Air, what is he thinking about it? Water, what is he feeling about it? And spirit, what is the voice of the soul? I like that. What is the voice of the soul? All right. Shall we? Let's look at him. What he want? The Fool. Dionysus. That is the card. It's Dionysus on that card. Mythic Tarot, Juliet, Sharman Birkin. He's the one I asked, pull the card. He's on his way. Oh, we're going to have fun. Wants to take the lead. Wants the new beginning. So we've got the Witch and the Fool, by the way. So this is card number 0. This is card number 1. 2 different decks. But it would make sense. The divine feminine might be a little bit of a step ahead in terms of the desire, right? She's like, let's manifest this. I think she's got a really, really clear thought, intention, will, desire, emotion in play, right? Where the Divine Masculine's like, no, I want. Feels the attraction, ready to go for it, even if they have not met yet. Earth, what has he got to get there? All right, the Four of Pentacles. So, you know, usually not thought of as a very healthy card, right? Kind of clingy, kind of materialistic in that sense. But there is also something there about creating stability. It is a four, you know, four legs to a table, right? Four wheels to a car. Roller skate, if those still exist. Xanadu. This is really, really does have at least the material wherewithal that even if they're holding on to stuff, they're getting their security together. In the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, it is called Security, the Four of Pentacles, and it's four women bringing these urns to a well, and a well that does not dry, right? So it's sort of like an eternal well, always replenishing, always replenishing. So perhaps there is some physical financial stability here, that he has the comfort and the availability to take the leap. In other words, not so much dealing with the survival issues, right? Conquering fear of surviving. If that's something that sort of got that, you know, like knows it can make it on his own, no. Maybe he answers to none, right? Only perhaps to his higher power. Interesting, interesting. What is he thinking about this? Well, Eight of Wands. We know the Eight of Wands. You know, soaring through the air, landing or taking off. This is about that rapid movement, right? That rapid movement of desire. I love it in this deck. It's Jason and the Argonauts heading home with the dolphins going along, swimming in the same direction, right? So there are messages that is thinking about taking action, right? It's in the mental realm, the element of air. So thinking about the journey. So I get that there's a lot of mental stimulation, air and fire here in the mental field that makes him want to go for it, right? Take the risk, step into something new. But what's he feeling? The Three of Cups, the wedding of Eros and Psyche. The thing about this is, it's a beautiful card, and we all want that celebration. And she's got the two here in her soul position. He's got this in his emotional field. This attraction between the two of them is probably going to be very emotional. And hence the leap here, the witch, I mean the major arcana on the table just on this side alone with that orphan child. But to remember that if this is not a reunion, right? If it's not like two people that already know each other coming together, because nothing here to say that is or isn't. But if this is people who just met each other, slow the fuck down. Because what's hit me in this card is this is the wedding of Eros and Psyche. Read the myth. Psyche hadn't even seen his face when they got married. It was part of their agreement because he was not to reveal who he was because he's a divine being, right? She finds out later, it's a fucking nightmare. And what she has to do to get him back into the underworld, the whole nine, right? So slow your roll. Slow your roll, Divine Masculine, because particularly if that orphan child has found mama, that needs to be addressed here. That there's something that's not being seen. In other words, it's still too early on. But there still can be a lot of fun and a lot of satisfaction there. But there's something in my solar plexus going, hey, be careful though. Make sure everyone's being conscious about this. Slow your roll. We are earth signs. So what is the overview, the voice of the soul? The Hanged Man. God, I'm fucking good, aren't I? Right, just hang the fuck out. Watch the movie. Right? Did you ever watch a movie with a movie you'd already seen with somebody? You've already seen the movie twice, 3 times. Somebody's never seen it, watches you. And they're like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? You're just like, watch the fucking movie, right? That's what my guides say to me a lot. Like a lot. They're like, we just watched the movie. I want to know. I want to know how things are going to turn out. Hence a draw towards divination since a young child. Come on, I was 12 years old when I started reading tarot. You know, it's a Virgo thing. But I want to know. The grace of humility. Go read my book, Words of Grace. Grace of humility is the first grace I talk about in the book and is my personal saving grace. Please grant me the grace of humility to know that I do not know, that I am willing to be shown the truth, but that the mind does not take over and write crazy, toxic shit in place of truth. Fuck. I don't say crazy, toxic shit in the book, but here, why not? Breathe. Pretty cool reading. We are going to look at the voices of the higher selves of all involved, mine included. I am a Virgo in this. So please breathe. We'll get one for the Divine Feminine, one for the Divine Masculine. Higher selves of all involved, please. One card in clarity, a whisper of love for this Divine Feminine goddess archetype in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign soulmate contract. Happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. Romantic, intimate, sexual soulmate contract. Please, one for the Divine Feminine, a whisper of love. Always face down. Same for the Divine Masculine, same contract, please. For this Divine Masculine child, orphan child archetype, a whisper of love from the higher self. The Divine Feminine goddess archetype has looked to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize, and I think that is really indicated here with this Emperor card in her element of earth, that she really does have the strength, not just, you know, what we think of as like physical strength, but the emotional strength here, particularly with this Three of Pentacles, right? That the strength of will, the strength of alignment, because really, if you think about it, that's what the Magician card is. It's about, like, anybody can have an antenna, but is it in alignment? Is it tuned? Is it ready to receive? And emotionally, in the mental field here, really is sort of looking at this from her own unique perspective, really does have the power of introspection to go deeper and higher up. Look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. Now, keeping in mind that there is a Two of Cups there, that soul card at the top. And if she's been thinking in more of a hermit mode, that to know that she has the strength to do this. The Divine Masculine orphan child. Turn on your heart light. Let it shine wherever you go. It hasn't come up in a while. Funny, I get the little thing in my throat to do Neil Diamond. Allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you have experienced love. Now, in a positive way, that there might be a note here about past relationships that might be in the way or be of great asset. If you are the Divine Masculine here, this orphan child, just remember, the orphan child doesn't need permission to change its hair. I didn't need permission to be a witch or be gay. I just sort of told them at some point, right? It wasn't like I had to ask if it was okay, right? Tough titty if you don't like it. So I can really relate to both of these archetypes here. But to turn on your heart light, to get your heart open, like get your heart open with, even if you haven't met each other yet, right? Allow yourself in this moment to reflect on a time when you experienced love. That doesn't have to mean romantically. That can mean, oh God, what? Anyway, like my orchids have started to bloom. Oh my God, I got them last year from a client. Came to the house, I read her. She brought it as a housewarming gift. Those orchids have brought me so much joy, I can actually keep them alive, right? I love them, right? That's what I mean, turn on your heart light. Neil Diamond E.T. reference aside. Please don't let that be stuck in my head. Today I can't. I got too much to do. It's a Monday. All right. One more card down. That's really, really cool. Oh, and turn on your heart light. Absolutely. Just to plug it in, right? Like wants to take the leap, right? Emotionally is feeling that Three of Cups or soon will be. Remember, this is about a December reading. But with that card of Hangman, it's like time out, right? Chill out. See things differently. Don't crack up. Bend your brain. See both sides. Throw off your mental chains and turn on your heart light. A little Neil Diamond, Howard Jones combo mashup, kind of, sort of. Ow, that hurt. One last card down. We're going to do a Journey of Love Oracle. Yeah, I have time. I might be able to do one more before I head out to Riverhead to Yogaholic, so we'll see. Please breathe. Oh, that feels good. All right. We started with the collective. We end with the collective. My collective pantheons of angels, gods, goddesses, masters, and the higher selves of all involved. Please, one card in clarity, a Journey of Love Oracle card to tie up, to bring together as a summation for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, satisfying, sexual, intimate, romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, soulmate contract, December 2019, or timeless. One card for them, please. I'm going to read it from the book. You know how I do. God speaks. So now we've got the goddess and God. Card number 33, I like that. I am a 3 number. Soul path. 3, 6, harmony. I love when I do math. I'm verbal. Here we go. Okay. The first part kind of tells you about the card. The second part is what it means in an oracular sense. It is an oracle. Third part is a poem. Please breathe. Never read this one before. Oh, and it's actually really pretty. It's sort of like greens and whites, and there's something spiraling down from above, like God speaking. Gird your loins, Virgo. God speaks. The divine is speaking to you directly. Underneath the silence, there is the endless music of love pulsating throughout the universe. Very quantum field. Within that sacred sound, there is guidance. It may or may not have words. It might be a feeling in your heart that you can only access when you are still, relaxed, dancing in a yoga practice, or even half asleep. You know what I just realized? Both the Divine Masculine and Divine Feminine have 3s in their emotional state. Divine Feminine has 3 of Pentacles, Divine Masculine 3 of Cups. It assures you that behind any struggle or challenge, there is only ever the divine seeking you out, calling you to surrender some fear or doubt or other, so you can move closer. Trust in the sound of love beyond anything else, for in truth, no matter what may appear to be, there is nothing else. There is nothing else but that love. There's nothing else but the quantum field. It's the illusion of separation that drives us nuts. Anyway. This oracle brings you guidance. You are being loved into becoming. I would write that down. I am being loved into becoming. Be open to being shown the divine genius in all that is happening. Do you feel you are being nudged? Know you are being nudged by the divine. If you feel you are being held back, know you are being held back by the divine. All is happening perfectly for you, and all will unfold in divine timing. The divine is speaking to you. When you are captivated by the beauty of nature or illogical sense that everything is okay, listen, right? So when you're captivated by the beauty of the nature, or an illogical sense that everything is okay, do you know what I mean? It's like it's almost like a reverie. It does happen for me in meditation rather often. It's just like, I don't know how, but everything's exactly how it's supposed to be. And there's this moment of peace that's hard to explain to other people with what's going on in the world, right? That's the divine talking to you, reassuring you that all is unfolding according to spiritual law in perfect cooperation with your own destiny. So you can't miss out on your destiny. It's just going to happen no matter what we do. Well, better to go along with and be dragged to it and through it. Here's our poem. Please breathe. When the first sound was born, the air was filled with fantasy like the flower's sweet perfume. Alive in the moment, there was nothing else, only the energy coursing through my body and the tears on my cheeks. I was carried away on the strings, each note striking a chord within and answering with the emotions of my soul. How priceless the surprise, how powerful the memory to be with the violin when it sings. Did you feel that? I love being Virgo. Woo! Second, third chakra ring-a-ding. Ooh, feels really good. Let's do your overview. Magic clap. We we start here with the Divine Feminine and with the Goddess archetype, the shadow attribute, exploitation of the female nature and form, the light attribute, feminine, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. And that does make sense that with the card of the witch, right, the magician in her element of fire, that she does want to express that she wants that divine feminine quantum ripple to flow out from her, magnetizing, drawing, being receptive to that which is next for her destiny. And what she has to do that is her own divine masculine energy, the emperor, even the hierophant within her practices, her structures, her discipline, right, to be able to create a life for herself, both inner and outer, that is supportive, that allows the current of the divine to work through her. In her mind, the hermit absolutely probably has been going this alone for quite a while, but has an insight, right? Has an upstairs insight, the ability to see things from a higher, more spiritual, more crown and 8th chakra perspective informing her journey, while emotionally it does feel like the fingers are in the clay. Something is being shaped, something is being molded, perhaps not in the kiln just yet for firing, for the full transformation into something solid and stable, still in a mutable form, but Virgo is, after all, mutable earth. So emotionally, to be in that place might be feeling some comfortable, as there is some deliberate co-creation going on here. The voice of the soul, the Two of Cups, the whirlpool, the romance card. Just an attraction, but all great true loves start as just an attraction. A lot of them crash and burn. This is a soulmate contract. We got the goddess energy here with God Speaks as the final card. So there is definitely the divine in play. And her whisper of love is look to your inner strength. You are stronger than you realize. So her going it alone with that hermit card, with that sculpting of the clay in the emotional, that she really has the strength of the divine within her to do this. After all, the archetype that she is represented by, or is representing in this relationship, is that of the goddess. So real goddess strength, divine feminine strength. Here in the divine masculine, we've got the orphan child, shadow attribute. Feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation. Okay, you were abandoned, he was abandoned, he was abused. Part of his soul got stuck back in there. It could have happened as a little child, as an adolescent, at any point. But as a result has sought inappropriate families, never quite fit in. So, you know, gangs. I was part of a group in Boston called the Heinous Clique. Wait till that book comes out. The 80s. Alchemizing this into the light attribute. Independence based on learning to go it alone. Conquering fear of surviving. That, yes, there he went again on his own, walking down the only road he's ever known. Like a drifter, he was born to walk alone. But he made up his mind. He ain't wasting no more time, right? So that there is a preparation here of maturation, that there is going it alone, conquering the fear of surviving, finding out that he is enough within himself and therefore is cut free from tribal dictate. He's pretty much free to go and do wherever he wants. However, commitment can be an issue with the feelings of abandonment that might crop up even when no one is being abandoned, or the fear that that will happen like another shoe dropping. Yet, with all of that, really looking at the light side of the orphan, right, that heroic part that with the card of the Fool wants to step off the cliff, wants to take the journey, wants the adventure. The Four of Pentacles, what he has is some physical stability. So he has, despite his past, great resiliency and strength and ability to care for oneself, and maybe perhaps now to allow others into that circle of care, as long as it is what? Healthy, balanced, secure, stable, in process. His air, his element of air, 8 of Wands, like really wanting the communication, really thinking about this a lot. There is a passion for forward motion, for getting on with it, for making the connection, for communication, for next steps, for the return journey, right? Like the hard stuff is done. Let's kind of sail this puppy into port and party down. And with that 3 of Cups in the emotional field, the element of water makes sense that this is really a desire, and it is the holiday season. The emotions really of enjoying this process, feeling good, even if in a group of people, kind of finding connection within the self. Yet, with the voice of the soul being the hangman, to just kind of hang out, watch the movie. Yes, there are some sacrifices that are going to happen, most likely in the way things are being viewed, right? The sacrificing, letting go of some of the feelings of abandonment, some of perhaps some inappropriate surrogate family members or families, tribes altogether. But in that, there is a turning on of the heart light, allowing himself in this moment to reflect on a time when he experienced love, so that he can remember the journey, that this is a journey, and we all have waxing and waning tides and cycles within it all. You know, to tie this all up with such a beautiful card like God Speaks, yes, you know, absolutely, there are cards about the goddess in this Journey of Love oracle as well, but this God Speaks saying that you are both being told something. It may be more on the inner than on the outer, that there is an activation taking place, and to kind of go for it, right? To you know, whether it's, you'll know what to do, but that to really pay attention, to listen, not just to the signs and symbols outside of you, but in that time, like it said, in a spiritual practice, in a moment of yoga, in a moment of beauty, in a moment of nature, where really allow the divine to speak through you, even if it's not in words. It may very well be the opening of the heart. And looking at both of these spreads together, I could see where they are certainly being prepared for a soul contract that will not just serve both of them in a satisfying way, but will serve all of life by the healthy, happy, healthy, wealthy, and wise love that this contract seems to be written for. So there we have it, my Virgos. Certainly some risk there with the Fool, but it just feels, I'm not going to say different than other reads, but, you know, I'm going to feel this one differently because I am a Virgo. I think a lot of readers on YouTube are Virgos, I've noticed. Would love to find out how many, but it's probably not possible. But to take this as it goes, and to really work on your own archetypes, right? So if you're the divine feminine, really connect with that goddess within. If you're the divine masculine, inner child work. Go watch Matt Kahn, right? Like, the child is your heart chakra, right? The inner child is the heart chakra. Chakras are databases, Anatomy of the Spirit, Caroline Myss. They literally store energetic data in there. So every heartbreak, every abandonment, every abuse, every neglect, right? Love that child, give it its voice, let it speak, let it cry, be its best parent. Whether the behavior of good parenting was modeled to you or not, you're old enough now to know what that child needs, and let it teach you how to love it. And by all means, reach out, ask for help. This is the spiritual counseling work I do with people every day. Just saying. Info's in the box below. May the Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need in their satisfying, sexual, romantic, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise contracts, partnerships, for the well-being of all, that they may contribute to the divine plan, lifting this world into more light, more love, more satisfaction, and more happy, healthy, wealthy, wise for all concerned. And so it is. Please do like and subscribe. What a fun read to do. I thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. And for now, my darlings, hail, farewell, Virgo honor, and blessed, blessed, blessed be.